average person that drinks coffee drinks 3 cups or more a day of coffee. I don't drink any. I don't know how people drink that much coffee, but these statistics are very well kept in. They're kept track of, and they're used a lot in marketing because I think there's 8 billion people in the world, a couple of billion of them are children. The rest of them, 80% of the rest of them, drink coffee. And coming up with a product in a network marketing company that 80% of the people already use is a no-brainer. But now making it good for you. Ganoderma has been used by the Chinese in their medical system for 4,000 years in North Korean history. They refer to it as the king of herbs because it's so beneficial for so many things. It's basically a panacea when you think of it in terms of your health. It's good for almost everything, although it primarily helps the liver, the heart, and the skin. If you're a person that is naturally or hereditarily subject to wrinkles, Ganoderma is a perfect thing to take because it'll get rid of wrinkles. In cultures where it's used, like in China, women are known not to get wrinkles. They know to use Ganoderma. They use it in a lot of different things. For many years, it was something that only the emperor could take because it was so valuable. And then as men became more industrious and the supply of shelf mushrooms, which is what Ganoderma is, became...
Excuse me, what kind of mushrooms?
Shelf mushrooms.
Shelf? Okay.
Shelf mushrooms. They look like a shelf sitting on the side of a...
Okay.
Oh, okay.
There's one of the products, Essential, is made up of Ganoderma, which is the shelf mushroom, and also turkey tail. It also has cordyceps in it, which is another very famous mushroom. It's a combination of them. And it encompasses almost every function in your body, and it's tonifying, it's strengthening, and it adds vitality to your go ahead.
Thank you. I just didn't want to interrupt because there's video happening.
That's
okay.
We won't publish.
It adds vitality to your system. And that's the energy, vital energy, that's the energy that you live by. Not everything does that. So now you have a product that virtually 80% of the world is consuming, and it's good for you. It's good for almost everything that you like about yourself. It's good for your skin, it's good for your heart, it's good for your liver, which cleans 80% of the volume of your blood. It is an ideal tonic substance. 5,000 years ago, European ancestor of somebody died and was flash frozen. They found him in the Alps in Austria. Do you know about this story?
No.
This occurred a few
know
years
these
ago.
things.
He was discovered entirely intact. They even had the contents of his stomach. They knew what he ate, his clothes. He didn't have many clothes on, even in the Alps. And he had a satchel around his shoulder. There were a couple of tools in it, and there was a Ganoderma mushroom. So, of course, the anthropologist went crazy and took it apart, discovered all kinds of things about it. You can find over 300,000 scholarly articles on Ganoderma alone. And that's just on WebMD. It's one of the most well-researched, thoroughly documented beneficial substances in the world. That guy, so our culture, we've been using it 5,000 years if you're European. So it's been around a long time, and it's made the top of the charts in every civilization where it's been used. It's going to do the same thing here. History repeats itself. So the company is well positioned to be able to bring it to the public. It's the first time that this substance has ever been mass marketed that I know of.
My question was so I'm in skincare, and it's the first time I hear about it. I never heard of Ganoderma before.
And it means
what is
shiny skin. Ganoderma.
Right.
Shiny
So
it's like smooth skin.
why is it a secret?
There are different reasons why you haven't heard of it. Mostly because of the cultural barrier between the Far East and the West. The Otzi, the guy that I told you about in Austria, he was never part of a civilization. He was a prehistoric man. And there they know about it. They call it Lingxi, is what it's called in China. In Japan, it's called reishi, and in the Orient, it's well known.
Oh, so
yes,
reishi. I've heard of reishi.
Yes.
Yes.
And all of the shelf mushrooms are highly medicinal. I also told you that this has turkey tail in it, which is another shelf mushroom, which is being very aggressively researched because they found that it will eliminate cancer from the body, especially colon cancer, reliably. That's being actively pursued in mainstream science right now. They're trying to come up with a treatment protocol for it. The pharmaceutical industry is based on a business model that requires hundreds of billions of dollars to go through their company. And in order to do that, they have to have some sort of a patent or way of cornering the market when they mass market something. These products will never be able to be done like that because they belong to everybody. There's no way to get a patent on a natural substance. It's impossible. You can combine things and you can get
FDA,
protection.
FDA approved?
Well, not as a patent, not where you have the only one that have the rights to it. You can get patents to apply a combination of ingredients to a specific purpose or application, but that's not a patent. A patent means nobody else can use it.
Right.
And it's a central part of all of the products here. You were talking about alkalizing water
Right.
in the Kagan. You know, when you alkalize water in that machine, from the time that you take the water, it starts to go back towards its original state,
Right.
unless you drink it right away. This product, which has Ganoderma in it in a nanoparticle size, it also has sea minerals in it. It alkalizes water, it stays that way. And you can put it in almost anything. It's a remarkable product. I started using it when I came in contact with the company just to see what it did. One of the things that I do to make sure that my perceptions are accurate is I take it, stop taking it, take it, stop taking it. Then I give it to people that are very sensitive. The last time I ran through the use of this was when we were up in Kentucky. And I gave it to my son, who is very sensitive to things like this. She is too.
I am too.
Yeah, well, actually, most of the people I give it to when I get done looking at something are women because they're more sensitive. And it produced a noticeable cleaning to both of us, which after 3 times I'll say, okay, it does its job.
Cleaning in what way?
General detoxifying of the body.
Okay.
The utilization of water is paramount. Why do you want alkaline water? Because it shifts your pH. As your body becomes more alkaline, you conduct more energy, just like a battery. It's a very simple principle, but it's also very vital. Even if you have energy, if your pH is off, you can't conduct the energy. It stays stuck and static. This allows the energy to flow. You can carry it with you and take it anywhere. All the products are purpose-built like that. The fruit and veggie product, kind of a no-brainer. How many people eat 5 helpings of fruits and vegetables a day? I do.
I do.
Hey,
Hey,
no.
did you want a seat?
Come on down.
Well, Dr. Jim was talking about the products.
Here, we'll grab a chair.
And would you like a cup of coffee?
I'm good, so thank you.
It won't keep you
On the
quiet.
coffee, on the coffee, I'm good.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's
Sure, you'll take it.
it's got Ganoderma. You have to drink it.
It won't.
Here you go. Have a seat.
It's good for you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Ben, Robert,
Hey, how are you, man?
Dr.
Nice meeting you.
Jim.
Dr. Jim Marinakis.
Hi, please meet you.
and the ladies.
That's kind of an over. And if you look at the ingredients inside the fruit and veggies, they are superb quality ingredients, like cereal grasses, but juiced and then freeze dried. It has a profile that's just unbelievable as far as the superfood goes. It has at least a dozen things that are considered superfoods, and it has extracts of blueberries, which are proven to reverse diabetes and a bunch of different things. It's a product, the quality of which is not typical in the average health food store. Doctors get these things, but it takes a long time before the production becomes large enough before the public can get to them. Even still, the industry is still that young. This is a product that I like a lot. I take 2 of these 3 times a day. It's basically designed to enhance your natural immunity. And some things are very common, like kelp, which everybody knows is good for you. helps protect you from radiation and a bunch of other things. Tremendous nutritional profile, iodine for your thyroid. It has something called baobab fruit in it, which at one time in Africa was carried everywhere, much the way the American Indians carried salt. But it was used to get rid of infections, particularly dysentery. And what they've discovered, and actually now that modern antibiotics and pharmaceuticals have basically failed in Africa because their people are completely pragmatic. They work and get paid, if they don't work, they don't get paid. And in Africa, it's a critical thing. 85% of the population of Africa has malaria. So not many people.
85%?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a huge percentage.
Not many people can work productively there. A lot of people there suffer from malaise and all the things that go along with it. And they have found that this fruit, which they use the fiber in it, is able to prevent them from suffering from a variety of different types of infections. And basically, it's very good for your skin as well. In fact, almost anything that's good for your skin is good for your natural immunity.
Yeah.
So it's meant to be taken daily. This is an interesting product. It's almost all Chinese herbs. It's basically for allergies. Jay, you were talking, he had allergies and nothing was getting rid of him. He took this for a while and then went away.
It's the owner of our company.
Yeah, and excuse me, Mr. Nolan.
Oh, no, that's okay too. I have allergies and help me, so.
Yeah, actually,
Shocker.
So when you're talking allergies, can you elaborate, like what type of allergies? Like,
well,
I have food allergies. Will
Yeah.
it help with food allergies? or-
basically allergies are a histamine reaction,
Right.
which can come from food or any other type of contaminant or
It's in
irritant that
The
gets in
air.
your system.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
can
dust.
breathe.
There are a lot of different things, and basically it works on the inflammation associated with the histamine.
Okay, great, because
So-
that's what happens to me. I inflame.
Yeah, there you go.
When I eat soy, I'm allergic to soy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's typical. Almost 90% of all allergies are protein related. And when that's happening, you gotta clean your liver. That gets back to the Ganoderma. One of the reasons why so many people get a benefit from it is because it's constantly strengthening the liver and rejuvenating. And if it cleans 80% of the volume of your blood, it only makes sense that it's gonna help you somewhere along the line. I use them as treatments as a physician. I'm used to doing that. I gave it to my sister who has a clinic in Arizona who had been exposed to radon. She was living in a house where radon was coming out of the ground for a long time. It was poisoning her. She didn't know. And one of the things that happened to her, she developed arthritis. And she works by hand. She does physiotherapy. So besides it being painful, it limited the amount of work that she could do. And she asked me, she wanted to know more about the products. I said, well, the best thing I think you could do is use them and see what they do. You'll see that they're bioactive. So I recommended this product and this product and this product. And I saw her, was it the weekend before last? And her arthritis is gone. She has no more
Wow.
pain in her
Wow.
joints. Yeah, so she's a pretty happy camper.
So what would you use for acid reflux?
It would depend upon why they were having acid reflux. I don't treat symptoms. I never have. I have 3 degrees in natural medicine. I have one in traditional Chinese medicine. I have one in homeopathic medicine. I have one in naturopathy, if you're familiar with those
Yeah.
fields. None of those, and I've studied other things longer than I have studied any of those things I'm degreed in. They don't teach treating symptoms. They teach restoring the normal functions of your body, all of them.
First.
Only. The only time you treat symptoms is when somebody is having something that's acute that's interfering with their normal activities. Because if a person can't drink, if they can't eat, if they can't get to primary resources, then they expire. And then you have to use everything and anything you can, emergency procedures if you have to resort to them. And there you're treating symptoms. And I do know how to do that. I studied emergency medicine at UCLA as well. And I was an EMT and I was certified to ride around in ambulances. I thought it was pretty interesting. I interfaced with the medical profession. I had doctors working in my clinics in California. It was very interesting. But I never divested from basically reconstructing the human genome because that's the only way you get healthy and stay that way. Nobody wants to feel good for a day. They want to continue to feel good. It requires changing what you're doing to get from a state of less than satisfactory health to a state of satisfactory health. As your body changes, what you need changes.
Okay.
If a person started on 2 or 3 of these products, as their system changed, like you talked about the acid reflux, I'd want to know a lot more about it, but I might try something like this because it's alkalizing. And rather than it being alkaline like the Kangen water, where it then affects, it's added to the entirety of your body fluids and has very little impact. This actually causes your body to become alkaline itself.
So the fruit and veggie blend.
No, that's the
Life
life.
You're
life
making a-
Thank you. That's the Life 120. Yeah.
Is that like a daily vitamin?
Yeah. Well, it's
Mineral.
not. It's really not.
Mineral.
You could take it every day, and it's extremely advantageous. But it's not really just a vitamin. It's much more than that. It's a complex food. It has enzymes in it and amino acids and a bunch of different things in a highly bioavailable form. You really can't, it doesn't compare to anything else. At first, I thought it was a daily vitamin, and then as I studied it more and took it and saw how it functioned, I realized that it was a food complex and a highly usable one. The G-Burn, all of these have Ganoderm in them, by the way. The
I'm
G-Burn,
taking the G-Burn.
have you?
Yeah.
How'd you like it?
Well, I want to go back to what you said about, so like I have soy allergy, and you said that I have to cleanse my liver, and I did a cleanse, like a whole food cleanse, not just like, you know, taking charcoal or something like that, where I, for 3 days, ate this specific diet, and after that, I felt like it's easier to lose weight. And I've been taking G-Burn at the same time, so I lost 8 pounds. Just
It's also my friend who
I
did the
wouldn't-
coffee. She
I
just
wouldn't
did
eat
coffee.
soy though.
You don't need to.
She just did the coffee and lost weight.
What, the Ganoderma
Yeah,
coffee?
yeah.
Coffee was the
she.
Well, that could be
she
also I'm
lost
doing
a
the
lot.
coffee
Helps
and
detox. Well, it's a
Yeah,
detox property.
exactly. It's there are only 5 things that affect our energy resources, and we all know what they are to some degree. But any one or more of them can be less than adequate for what you're trying to achieve, and you have to add those things. Nutrition is one of those 5 things. But G-Burn, it increases your caloric usage beyond a doubt. There was a product like this that Herbalife came out with, but it was poorly formulated, and it didn't have anything in it to protect your heart. And the heart in Chinese medicine is associated with the fire element. Adding heat, you're affecting the heart. This has an extract from cocoa that protects your heart when you're taking it. So it's a very well-made product. This is an interesting product. A lot of the people that are in this industry push themselves hard. Actually, if you want to be competitive at almost anything, you have a tendency when you're applying yourself to that thing, whatever it is, to push yourself. And that's stress. Stress is generated as a result of resistance to anything, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, or physically. And the common denominator is adrenaline. You can measure stress by the amount of adrenaline that's generated through whatever you're striving to do. It's not the same as drinking a cup of coffee unless it is a burden, and then it becomes chemical stress. So we are going to experience stress no matter what. The thing that changes the quality of our life is whether we recover from the stress. And this is a product that is made, it's called G-Clear, and it's made to recuperate you from stress. It's like an adaptogen, but it's formulated, and as a result of the formula, it's extremely effective. One of the guy, I think that Luke Curry is number 1. Yeah, he has more people enrolled, and he's the number 1 earner for the company.
Correct.
Except, well, Scott's the number 1. But anyway.
No, Luke's actually
Is he?
makes more. Yeah.
Is that right?
So how would your recovery show up, like on a daily basis?
Well, I was going to tell you the story about this guy. He's a young guy. He set a world record for being a power lifter, weightlifting as a teenager. And he called me up and he asked me for help for somebody else. But whenever anybody does that, I know they're really not asking about somebody else. So I talked to him a little bit.
I have a
And-
friend.
Yeah. So it was an 18-year-old girl in Sweden that one of his
Girlfriends,
affiliates.
yeah.
No
No,
people.
no, he's married. They're very happily
Okay.
married. He's a young guy. And so he told me, he says, well, you know, actually, he says, you know, he says, I feel tired all the time. He says, I'm constantly dragging. So I talked to him a little bit about his past, and he explained to me he was an athlete and all the things he used in high school, stuff like that. And I said, I think I know what's going on. I said, do you know the product G-Clair? He goes, yeah. I said, I want you to start taking it. He says, okay, you know, how often? I said, we'll start out by taking 2 of them at night. Long story short, within 3 days, he was waking up feeling refreshed. I put him on 3. He's sleeping all night long, and he's waking up wide awake, doesn't need anything to get going, and he's doing better than ever. Just by taking 3 of these things at night before bed to recuperate from the stress. Because the guy's a workaholic.
Mhm.
Really hard. Does anybody have questions about any of them? Did I cover all of them? I think so.
Mhm.
So
No, you never told me what I need to say.
you want to know about acid reflux?
I know, because that's my only problem. That's my
And
only.
do you drink coffee?
No, I've been drinking tea the last.
What kind?
Just an herbal tea.
Do you know which ones?
I'll remember it in a minute.
Okay.
Where do you get it?
Where do I
Notice
get it?
anything specific?
It's green leaf.
that-
It's green leaf.
No, the acid reflux.
Yeah.
Where do-
When are you
When
getting
Where
you
do I get it?
experience
No, no,
it.
I don't have what normal people have.
What do you have?
I just have a cough.
Explain it.
I eat, I cough. I drink, I cough. And I've recently started a new medication that's really helping. But when I read about it, it's gonna cause bone loss, it's gonna cause all these things. So I
Not
just
worth
started taking it, but it's really helping my reflux.
Well, how
Like-
old are you?
61.
Okay. How long have you been having the cough?
A long time, 7 years
Okay. What was taking place at the time?
of my cough.
7 years ago.
A lot of stress, but I once had kind of a pneumonia kind of thing, and in the ER they gave me a vaccine for whooping cough, and that all started,
Okay.
and I have not been able to get rid of it.
What do you do? What's your occupation?
Well, I was in medical management and consulting. I have a couple different licenses,
Yeah.
but a radiology license and a technical license.
Did you work around a lot of X-ray?
I did,
Yeah.
but I noticed I had a cough and it was, and I was in that business for 40-something years. And
Take this
it
and
was
apple pectin.
extremely stressful, and
Yeah.
I would notice when I would have a real stressful moment, even though I had one doctor who grabbed me and took me outside and told me to scream as loud as I could, because I was having a rough time with a patient, and you can't do it with the patient, but I would have a stress cough. And as soon as I left that business, I moved to the Hawaiian Islands on a remote island. It
Everything
was
in.
gone.
The radiation's not. Take this right here with apple pectin and a B complex. It's strong, like a stress formula. Radiation is just a heavy metal, and it stays in your body for a long time.
Well, see, I had mercury poisoning,
Well, then you need to take
See.
selenium in a usable form.
and I did
do it?
all that. I detoxed. I'm good now.
You sure it's out of your system?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been checked.
Last year, I met a guy that had been sick and gone to the best medical institutions in the country. Nobody knew what was wrong with him. I recommended a regimen for him, a nutritional exercise, and cleaned him out. Literally brought this guy back from the dead. And he wanted to meet me, so I was going to somebody else's office in New Jersey. He came there and he met me, and I spent 5 minutes talking to him, and I said, well, I know what's wrong with you. He said, you do? I go, this guy is a great scientist. He discovered, he developed the guided missile systems that's currently used by the United States military, and he invented the ceramic tiles that went on all of the Apollo missions. he's a well-known, world-renowned scientist and inventor. He said, you have radiation poisoning. He goes, oh my God, he says, I'm a nuclear physicist, of course I do.
Yeah.
But this guy went to the biggest medical institutions in the country, and nobody figured it out. It was just common sense. You need to clean your liver.
I've done that before.
No, I mean, not an exercise. I mean, you have to be effective with it. Because of the amount of time in your age, you have to, you can't, the liver, because it cleans 80% of the volume of your blood,
Right.
that's a lot of material.
Mm-hmm.
And much of it passes from the liver into the gallbladder.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have, if there is any kind of a resistance, even a slight bit of cholesterol buildup in the gallbladder, which is very common, more common than stones.
I have very high cholesterol. It's
What?
familiar, but still,
Good.
yeah.
Good guess. Anyway, you need to clean your gallbladder out,
Mhm.
and then you can clean your liver. No matter what you do, your liver will clean out. You have to be careful not to use things to tonify your liver because it'll make your symptoms worse.
Mm.
You can go online, but you have to make sure that the cleaning is effective, and your body functions change when whatever you're doing as an exercise are effective. And once that happens, then you can go ahead and flush the gallbladder, and you wait about a month at least to
So clean the liver first and then the gallbladder?
gallbladder first.
Gallbladder first.
No, if you
Okay.
put a bunch of stuff into your gallbladder,
Mhm.
it's gonna back up into your liver.
Right.
It won't, you will do the exercise, but it won't be effective.
Mm-hmm.
Get the gallbladder cleaned out, then you can clean the liver. In fact, if you get your gallbladder cleaned out, your liver may clean itself up. You can
Mhm.
tell because your stool changes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do that and you use this essential product and the G Shield over there, I think you'll be very happy with the result.
So you can take all these products together every day.
Well,
Maybe,
I don't know, unless you had a need for that, I don't think that
Yeah.
Right.
you would wanna take
no,
that.
I don't
And
need
cheaper, and you may not
allergy,
need
but-
it.
I don't
depending.
think that I would use this if I were you, unless you were trying to cut body weight
Yeah,
in a hurry.
yeah.
I don't think that.
I
would
noticed a
use
big
this every day.
change in that when I used that in the first week.
Yeah,
10 days, my appetite was,
yeah.
Yeah, you can
Which
forget
one?
to
and
eat.
it didn't speed me up. It
Right.
doesn't get you
What?
jittery.
The G-burn?
G-burn, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good mental clarity. yeah.
These things here, anybody can take every day,
Okay.
anybody. And the stress levels in modern life are so high. One of the biggest problems is degeneration. All of the 10 top causes of death are degenerative diseases in the United States, which means a lack of energy. Okay, this regenerates you. There isn't anybody that can't use this advantageously. Even a young world record holding weightlifter got a benefit out of it. All of us can use it. I use it, it works really well. This you can use every day. If you clean your organs, like what I was telling you about, and use things like this,
Who do I go to? How do I do that?
which,
Clean my organs.
well, you can call me.
Okay.
You
We can
guys
get hooked up.
do you have a,
but you can go online and there are programs for gallbladder purges, and I can guide you through the use of one.
do you have an office or do you have a practice?
I don't treat people. I've been teaching people for 35 years. I treated 35,000 people in private practice in my first 10 years. And then I went into education. I mean, I'm almost doing nothing but industry now.
Mm.
I'm helping people in industry make smarter choices for technology so that they don't create a problem down the road.
Wow, can we do a workshop here
Yeah, maybe.
on detox?
Yeah, if you get 5 or more people here,
Of course.
Yeah.
do something. Yeah, lately I've been working with a corporation that is doing this with everybody in their company. they started with the CEO, has been a client of mine for years. And he got his direct reports, those are the people that he deals with directly in his company involved. One of them had, we first started with one guy that had prostate cancer. His wife was a nurse. He did so well that one of the other guys that was very overweight asked if he could do the program. I said, yeah, you know, we got him started. The guy lost 80 pounds in 60 days.
Wow.
And the rest of the people in the company just said, but he looked good. I mean, he looked.
He wasn't suffering through it.
He wasn't suffering through it at all. His wife wanted to meet me, and then the whole thing just snowballed, which is what happened.
60 days.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to lose weight. He just changed what he was eating. I basically took myself out of public circulation about 35 years ago because I was inundated with people. And I'm only going back into the public now because of what I'm working on with this company and some other things that I'm doing. So
I mean, you've been approached by over 100 companies in this industry over however 20, 30 years, and has never been involved with one. He's not lending his name to us, he's doing what I'm doing, but obviously educating out a lot better than I can.
Well, I'm working on a deal with the company to see about incorporating more. There are a few things I'd like to see added to the line. There are problems that everybody struggles with. Virtually 98% of the population is suffering from the same problem, and nobody's doing anything about it at all. Unless
The same problem.
it's a condition of parasite infestation. And it is one of the biggest problems in the world. 98% of the population has them.
Or yeast.
Well, that's a parasite when
Yeah.
it becomes pathogenic. But I'm talking about worms and flukes and other things. There are two different types of flukes that enter into the pancreas
Sorry.
and cause diabetes.
It totally
The
grosses
fastest
me out.
growing disease in the world.
Right.
This is not a joke. At one time, mankind knew. Now, Ganoderma gets rid of some types of parasites. I just would like to see a very concerted effort to eliminate parasites from human corporal experience because they cause so many problems.
Jody told me what happened.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no,
Like that?
You ever watch Monsters?
Sounds like a horror movie.
Watch Monsters Inside Me? Have you seen that show?
the problem with that is that they went for the drama.
Yeah,
they
but it
shocked
was
the
good.
It was.
It was a great show.
In the beginning, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then eventually, it got to be just too much, just dramatic. But for as many people as could watch it, it did let people know that this is a problem that is widespread. But what happened is they went to the exotic, tropical parasites and the skin and the stuff that was more visible and easier to get people into the programming. That's what I felt. It's a dull subject, and who wants to talk about worms crawling around inside of them? I mean, it's just not a popular thing. It never has been. But I'll tell you something. The people that created our culture were the survivors of the last plague of Europe. 70% of the population died during the bubonic plague.
Right.
The 30% that lived knew something the other ones didn't know. They were immune. One of the things that they did is they created the cocktail martini. And what is it made with?
Vermouth and gin.
Gin.
Yep. Do you know what vermouth is?
No.
Some kind of flour.
Smart people here. You're right. It's the flower of a plant called wormwood.
Oh.
Wormwood.
Yeah. It kills parasites.
Wow.
It kills. Yes.
So we are on vacation in another island, in another
Just
country.
drink
We need to
martinis.
drink martinis. I got it.
Well,
No problem.
At one time
Don't
it
go
was
to
that
Mexico
easy.
without drinking martinis.
At one time it was that easy, but right now vermouth is not made with flour anymore.
No.
It's like
Oh.
vodka. Grey Goose vodka is not made with potatoes, which is what vodka is.
Right.
It's
Chopin.
grain alcohol with flavor.
So if you have a
Chopin's
gluten
potato
problem, then you don't really want to
Chopin vodka.
do vodka.
That's
anymore.
potatoes, the only potato vodka. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have gluten in it. It doesn't have
right.
any proteins in it.
Right.
Alcohol is not a problem
Right.
for allergies or anything like that. But they were medicines. It's something that was lost. They did that every day before they ate. Was it a coincidence? The rich people drink martinis, and the common person
Part
drank
of their daily routine.
Beer.
absinthe. No, beer
Oh,
wasn't.
absence I've had too.
Beer was the first
I know.
nutritional product
I
ever
know.
developed. It was for people doing hard work, and it was not to be taken with a meal.
Mm-mm.
It neutralizes your stomach acid.
So
It's not good.
absinthe is not good?
Very
has-
good.
Oh, okay.
Does it kill your worms?
Doesn't kill your worms?
It will kill your worms.
Oh, okay, good, because it seems like it kills worms. It kills brain
All sorts of
cells.
stuff.
Yeah.
No.
I've never seen
Moderation,
I'm
my
just
dear,
kidding.
moderation.
I'm just kidding.
So I'm gonna go home and
Take-
tell my
we'll
husband
leave it
I
at
need
one
to
shot.
buy
I love
absinthe.
absinthe.
They're gonna see pink elephants and little.
Wormwood. Actually,
What'd you learn? I
you,
learned to
if
drink
you
that.
if you want to do a worm program, she's the person that you should talk to. She has a protocol that was developed for physicians that you can get from her
Okay.
company. Yeah, you can buy it.
Interesting.
We usually only sell to professionals, but you can, and there is a way to take it. Parasites. I studied with a guy that put an end to the parasite epidemic in the United States in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And the way he did it, this research had been going on for years, and they could never get rid of the epidemic. It just kept coming back. And he was a Missouri farm boy, and he was hired right out of veterinary school by the United States government. And his senior advisor and he were having lunch, and he dawned on him, well, you know, what's happening is that these parasites lay eggs. Their eggs are hatched 2 weeks later,
And you find it most.
and they just
I
grow
don't
back.
like the subject.
So he tells his partner, hey, I know how to get rid of this epidemic. He goes, really? He goes, yeah. He says, well, don't tell our boss, we'll get fired. Tells his boss, that was the end of the epidemic. They double dosed the people. They killed the adults and then killed the babies before they could lay eggs. Gone. So you have to take the medicine correctly.
Yeah.
You could take it every day, but I think it would eventually cause a problem. They're strong substances. However, the natural ones, we only use natural nutraceuticals. They do not wear off, where pharmaceutical anthelmintics, they become immune to them. The vermin become immune to the medicines. If you, I don't, do any of you keep horses or dogs or have you
I
ever?
have
Yeah, you keep,
both.
yeah, you can't keep those animals without worming them.
Yeah.
We got a ton. We got worms left and right. 98 people out of 100 have it, and I know I don't have it because I got rid of mine. I take something once a week, and every 3 months I do a 21-day cycle to overlap the life cycle of it, and I recommend everybody to do it. But we're making all that stuff available to people that are interested in taking care of their health and getting involved. You don't have to join the company, but it makes sense to do that because the products are fantastic. I do recommend them to my own family. So I couldn't endorse them anymore. I think that if you're interested in the business from what I understand, having known many people in the network industry or the multi-level industry over the years, and some of the most successful people, the commission plan and the payout is as good as anybody else's, and he incentivizes people by offering bonuses all the time. And he's developed a way of enticing people to do their best, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's good.
Thank you for all the information.
Where's everything shipped out of, or where's the corporate?
We're headquartered in Las Vegas right now. The products are coming out of Kentucky. Some of the raw materials come from outside of the country, but the products are produced here.
You like the mushrooms?
Yeah, the mushrooms not here.
Yeah, they're organic. The coffee beans are sourced organic, and they roast them themselves. They're carefully controlled to create the best effect.
We actually have teas coming out. We'll have a mocha on top of the black in the latte. We have a mocha coming. We have hot chocolate that's about ready to come out. We have a chai tea, it's rooibos tea based with Indian
I love
spices,
rooibos.
because that's all the chai is. It's not a different tea, so it's rooibos tea, which is incredible.
I thought you had that already.
We're about ready to ship.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, it's existing, we just.
We sampled.
Because we
it.
called this a coffee and tea. I was
Yeah.
like excited for the
Because
tea.
I'm talking about tea right now.
No, I sampled the chai
Tea?
tea
You did?
the week before last.